Hey guys, how's it going? So, in this box just delivered to me is my new power jack inverter. Now, before you jump out of your chair and say, "Oh my God, power jack, what a mistake." I know, and I considered for the longest time, and I did my research, and I am well aware that power jack is less or is known for their less than reliable products. And let me just say that it's a risk that I'm going to take based on the price that I paid. Most of the failures happen when they are pushed to their absolute advertised limit. And unfortunately, that advertised limit is somewhat greater than the actual limit of the inverter. There are some cases where people basically plug in a single light bulb and then the thing goes. That I can't speak to. That is obviously a risk. And yeah, so anyway, I weighed the risk with the reward and decided to go ahead and purchase this. It is a 5,000 watt pure sine wave inverter, which they claim has a 20,000 watt peak. Now, the research tells me that this is probably a 3,500 watt continuous if it can handle the thermal load, with probably more around a 10,000 watt peak. But for me, for my setup, this is perfect. It's 220 volts and it'll do what I need it to do. So, for now, this will be a perfect inverter. I got it for a really good deal on eBay. Obviously, this is where they sell them, is eBay. So, here's the package delivered via UPS. Another small minor quibble is that it quite literally flew 90% of the way here, all the way from California. I'm in Michigan. It flew all the way to Ohio 12 hours after it left the seller, and it sat for 4 days in Ohio. And I understand that it's ground. I understand it's free shipping. That's fine. I expected it to be 5 days, but come on, seriously? You get literally almost walking distance to where it needs to be delivered, and it just sits. It kind of makes me wonder if they don't set that up on purpose sometimes. Anyways, so another quibble is that, well, if you look at it, yeah, this strap, this is literally how it came to me. The driver literally dropped it off just like this. Okay, the straps aren't even on there. They really even aren't. And you can see where most of the pressure happened down here on this one remaining strap. This came overseas. There's no telling if they packaged it before it hit UPS or whatever, but from the looks of the box, I'm not exactly too confident that the item inside is actually going to be okay, but we'll see. So we're going to go ahead and open it. Yes, I didn't even need to cut the other two straps. It is, well taped. I will give them that. Alright, so on the inside is yet another box. Okay, so we're greeted to another box. So, double boxing. That's good. Kind of reminds me of those cups that keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. All right. Okay, so at the very top here, you've got a warning label. Warning, you need to plug in the AC power cable to charge your battery. Okay, well, I'm not going to be using this as a battery charger. That's what I have the solar panels for. So I can pretty much discard that. It looks like it's got a sticky back on it so that I can, I don't know, stick it to something. And this is the AC in. This is 110 to 120 volt AC in. Basically, this is what charges the batteries. This unit will actually act as an uninterruptible power system, where the batteries are always on standby. It keeps the batteries charged, and if you lose power, it automatically switches over. Of course, you need to have that hooked up into your main box. So here's a little bit of literature on power jack. There's obviously the different models. There's also different models. Different models. Makes you want to jump right out and buy some power jack stuff, huh? So I did kind of drool over this one right here, not any of the models, but the 15,000 watt version. Geez, it's huge. So I didn't quite go that far. So basically, about power inverter, and I'm sure there's quite a few spelling mistakes. What's this hidden leaflet in here? Warranty card, which, what am I going to do? Send it all the way back to China? So yeah, here's basically just an instruction set. Your basic kind of... I'll look at this later for sure. Here's the specifications. I don't know if that is for this particular model, because this looks more like a universal booklet here. Here we go. Here's the warning lably. Famous on eBay from the seller. It even comes with a repair manual. Well, I mean, to be honest, I've never actually seen anything like this before where they include a repair manual. So that could mean they want to be real thorough, or that could mean that there's some real problems, and instead of sending the unit back, you can repair it yourself. Well, confidence is definitely hasn't improved any, that's for sure. And of course, I can tell you, hey, 1400 watt drill, no problem. I would hope that a 5000 watt inverter would be able to handle a 1400 watt drill. 2600 watt circular saw, no problem. The thing that has me concerned is the continuous load. Now, I don't plan on, with the battery bank size that I have, I don't plan on pulling 2600 watts continuous, but it just kind of has me worried a little bit. Here, I got some more. I mean, it looks like they basically just took some pictures of stuff that we don't even know if it's actually in use or not. In fact, I can't even tell that the light is on in the inverter. Anyways, so here's some more models there for you. You got the 15,000 watt model, the 3,000 watt model, and all the rest of the models to go with it. So anyway, all right, so I'll take a look at that later. Here's some spare fuses. Yeah, those are pretty small fuses. I wonder what they're for. Let's go ahead and get this out of the box. You can see it's actually pretty well packaged on the inside. The outer box just looks like it took some dings. Alright, so it is heavy. It is 40 pounds. That's good. Bubble wrap off here. So here is the inverter, and it looks exactly like all of the pictures on eBay, everywhere you go. Definitely, it's definitely not used in any way. I had read some people say that they got theirs and it looked very well used, probably refurbished, remanufactured, however you want to put it. It doesn't look that way. Of course, they could always take a brand new housing and stick used guts in it. I'm sure they have some generic stickers here. They put pretty much whatever they want in there. So a pure sine wave inverter, 5,000 watts. There's your information center here, which only works for 220, so I hear. So if I'm using just the regular outlet on 120 volts, or 110 actually, this is going to be useless. And of course it gives you this list of all the different stuff. 5,000 watt inverter. See, this is the thing that I don't understand at all. It says not over 2,000 watts, so for some of this stuff, and kind of makes me wonder. I don't know. But so here's the back of it. You got two sets of battery terminals here, and then you've got all this over here. I don't know how well you can see that. Gonna try to figure out what some of this is. What the hell that is. Guess I should read the manual first. But I'm gonna go ahead and get my camera down to give you a closer look. Okay, so here's a look at the side that everybody is concerned about. So what we've got here is we've got a power save mode off. So in this position, power save mode is off, so I'm guessing it's just going to get full delivery of power. I did read that in power save mode, it looks for load, and if there's no load, then it drops to 0. Otherwise, it uses a 3 amp, 12 volt standby, which is kind of high in my opinion. I think this should use less than an amp at standby. Here's where the two fuses go. Yeah, I guess. So they give you some spares. I guess that's good. AC input. Um, that's I'm not going to be using that at all. And battery voltage. Again, I'm not going to be charging the batteries with this, so that's irrelevant. And you've got AC input that you can direct wire here. So instead of using just a electrical outlet, you can actually direct wire it from your fuse panel. Then you have 220 volts out, and this is going to be useful for me because I do plan on wiring this directly into my breaker. You got a standard outlet. Well, I mean, actually, it's an international outlet, and yeah, okay. So a little wiggly there, I guess. Whatever that's about. And I'm guessing this is a 110 volt out for direct wire for fuse panel. That's my guess. There's nowhere in the manual that has any description of that. It actually shows two of these. So I'm guessing that it's basically a 110 out that you can wire directly into your fuse panel. Whatever this does, I have no idea. There is not a single thing inside this entire booklet that describes this. And this is the first I've ever seen this. Based on all the pictures that I've seen on eBay, even the picture of the item on eBay, I don't know what that is. And so for now, I'm going to leave it in this position. Hopefully, obviously it doesn't explode on me or anything. This cat's obviously looking to do some playing. So anyway, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to open it up. Now, that's going to void the warranty, yada, yada, yada. But coming from China and then through UPS and seeing all the straps basically destroyed, I don't feel comfortable actually letting this thing run without looking inside to make sure that nothing is jarred loose, has broken, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. But I would not recommend you do this simply because you will void your warranty. So I am glad that I opened this up. And I'll show you why, if you can't see it already. I opened this up, and the first thing I noticed was that green wire seems to be, disconnected. And to be honest, I don't know where it goes without looking at it closely. It was glued, green and white wire, both. It was glued, but obviously not a very good job. And then this is disconnected here. And what it looks like, this part right here plugs into here, and this is loose. It looks like they tried to tape it or something. I don't know. I'm actually pretty upset right now. I am more than capable of repairing it, but it's not a good sign at all. So I'm gonna have to repair that. Maybe the repair manual they included will help me along with that. Looking at some other things here. Try to see anything obvious that sticks out. Not seeing anything obvious right now. Everything else looks fairly secure. Man, look at that thing. It's huge. So, alright. Well, first thing I have to do is obviously repair that. That is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So whoever decided that they were going to put this together, it looks like they probably didn't even solder that. I mean, they probably just put some glue down and called it a day. You can see where it came loose from here. So I'm going to go ahead and repair that and then start testing the inverter. Okay, so I have temporarily connected my batteries here to the inverter. The inverter is on right now. I don't know what activity is going on back there. I don't really care right now because I need to resolder those two tiny little points to that right there. This right there. So stupid. So anyway, before going all the trouble of soldering that, I wanted to make sure that the damn thing worked. So I do hear it humming. You got all these green lights in here that came on as soon as I plugged the battery in. So, so far so good, I guess. I'm going to get my kilowatt meter, and I'm going to plug it into the 110, and I'm going to see what kind of frequency we got going on here. All right, so kilowatt meter is actually showing more than 110 volts. I'm sure that's going to drop when I put a load on it, but this is just raw in standby. It looks like it's fluctuating between, what would you call that? Maybe 118 to 121, maybe. And that's 117. So that's out of the 110 volt AC output. That's actually better than what I had expected, just because most people who get these find that they're less than 110 volts. I'm actually surprised that I'm a little bit worried though that it's going over 120 volts, although I don't think that's going to really be too much of a concern. So yeah, 120 volts, let's just say average 119, 118 or so. 60 hertz, we'll see if that moves. So 60 hertz is definitely where it should be. It's within the 5% tolerance that they claim. I do have a battery backup and ups that is very, very quirky when it comes to frequencies. If it's not perfect from the outlet, it's not going to run. So I'm going to plug that in first and see if it actually accepts it. Okay, so I have the ups plugged in at the other end, and it's not complaining at all. It actually just fired right up. And so I know that it's putting out a pure sine wave. How good that pure sine wave is, yeah. The voltage is pretty constant. It's only got I've only got a 48 watt draw on it right now, so not much, but you know, the amperage, wattage, and volt amps and whatever. I am going to put it under load, not too much of a load. I do have it plugged in. I'm generating 6 amps at 12 volts DC, and it is pulling approximately that from the batteries. So it's staying pretty consistent at 13.3 volts. So anyway, yeah, I mean, it's a good enough sine wave that my uninterruptible power system is actually is okay with it, because I've plugged in all sorts of inverters to that, and square sine, modified sine, it absolutely just rejects it. So at least this is putting out somewhat of a pure sine. How good that pure sine wave inverter is, or that inversion, I don't know. I have no way. I don't have an oscilloscope to test that. So, but yeah, so far, I mean, I guess you could call it so good. I don't really like this. That should be staying pretty constant. Anyway, okay, so there's the first test. I'm going to go ahead and repair that now. I'm going to put a load on this and see how well it does. Maybe 400 or 500 watt load. We'll see what it does. Alright, so testing on various things. I have my computer running. I cannot find my power strip, so I had to resort to this setup. But I've got a 5.2 amp drill here, not very much in the way of amperage, but of course the startup cost, and it had absolutely no problem starting it up and maintaining it. I have reason to believe that it's actually not as efficient as they claim, simply because I've got a 190 watt draw, and I'm putting into the batteries approximately 400 watts. And while it is going up, it should be going up faster than that if I'm quite literally doubling the input. So I don't think it's as efficient as what they claim. I'll have to do some more tests to figure that out. But my initial impressions are it's a decent inverter for the price. You really can't complain too much when you're getting something for roughly half the price of a higher quality inverter. And this will suit my needs just fine. I'm going to have to do some more research on it to figure out if I can increase the efficiency. But so far, my ups is not complaining at all. I've had no alarms on it. It's not making any weird, strange noises. It doesn't smell. There's no burning smell or anything. The only thing that I noticed was obviously that one plug is, undone from the factory. But yeah, no problem starting up a drill. So at least I know I can drill. And I had about a 500 watt load on it for maybe 2 minutes, and it did just fine. right now I'm actually limited based on my battery capacity. I can't draw any more than 1200 watts approximately DC at 12 volts from this battery bank, so I'm not going to test it any beyond that. When I do get it plugged into the house, then obviously I'll do some more testing. So hopefully this video helps you. Hopefully you're safe about this kind of stuff. I mean, we've got 220 volts coming out of some of these wires right here. That's pretty serious stuff, and that's definitely heart stopping. I mean, 120 volts is enough to really hurt, and 220 is just even worse than that. So if you ever do open up something like this, make sure you know what you're doing. I'm actually going to unplug everything and go ahead and get this mounted on this little stand that I have here, and then I'll start using it in full swing. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty decent. I gotta say that it's decent. All right, for what I paid for, it's actually considered good. So I will get more videos in the future, so stay tuned. But I am happy to be online with what they claim to be is a 5,000 watt inverter. I don't see any markings on here that actually proclaim any of that right now, but you never know. Alright guys, so if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Take care.